Today we're working on our 1953 Humber Super Snipe Mark IV. A quick look around the engine bay. We've got an inline 6-cylinder 253 cubic inch overhead valve blue ribboned engine. Here's the blue ribbon sticker, which is rubbed off a bit. As you'd expect for a 1953 car. Ignition coil and distributor. A Zenith Stromberg carburetor. Oil bath, air cleaner. Got the old glass bulb. Oil fuel filter, but with another modern fuel filter in line there with it. Underneath that is the fuel pump, mechanical fuel pump running off the camshaft. Also got a primer lever sticking out there on the side, so we can pump it manually. So the problem we're trying to fix is the number 2 cylinder. Doesn't seem to be working as hard. It's running a bit rough. I've done a quick check just by pulling spark plugs leads off, and when you pull off number 1 the engine revs drop, as you would expect. When you pull off number 2 spark plug lead, the engine seems to run the same. So we'll do a spark test with a little spark plug light, and then if that looks okay, what we'll do, I should have said I've already changed the spark plug in number 2 just to see if that was the problem. Hasn't helped, but after that we might do a pressure test on all the cylinders, see if we've got a valve or a ring problem, or a head gasket problem. Anyway, so let's get into it. So I've already had the car running for a bit to warm it up in preparation for the compression test. We'll just give it a bit more of a go. You can see the water temperature's up to, obviously the thermostat's opened, and the water temperature's up to about 100 degrees Fahrenheit. We'll just give it a bit more of a run. Seems to be working well, up to 30 amps there. We'll come back as the battery recharges a bit. Oil pressure getting up towards 50 pounds per square inch. As I said, the water temperature is heading up to 100 degrees Fahrenheit. So I expect the thermostat has already opened. This car has an automatic choke which is operated off the exhaust manifold temperature. I want to make sure that choke is fully opened before we do the pressure test, so we don't get any restrictions to the airflow into the cylinders. Right, we'll pull off the top of the air feed into the carburetor. And we can see it's fully open there. You can see the little lever coming up from a coiled up bimetal strip in the exhaust manifold there, which operates that choke. And a bit of vapour there. Might as well leave that off for the moment. So first of all, we'll take out our spark plugs. So we've got all the spark plugs out, as you can see, and here they are. They all look pretty grubby. That new spark plug, which I put in number 2, seems to be slightly different than the others, and the positive electrode isn't sticking out like the others, but by the same token the negative there seems to be lower down. I'm going to put all new spark plugs in anyway, but if you've got any advice on what these condition of these spark plugs might mean, I assume if they're a bit grubby and sooty and carbon, that it's might say the engine's running rich, but let me know in the comments. There we go. So I've got the pressure gauge screwed into number 1 cylinder. Just done it up finger tight as recommended. So the compression for this engine is ideally between 116 and 124 pounds per square inch. I'm expecting a bit, obviously the engine's 70 years old, so I'm expecting a bit lower than that. Also, I've been told that the volume in the hose itself will obviously decrease compression a bit, just the extra volume adding to the cylinder volume. So we'll see how we go. Now I can turn over the engine from here, because on the back of the starter solenoid there I've got a little button I can push to turn the engine over. So we just make sure the car's in neutral. Which it is. Ignition off. Let's see how we go. And I also want to keep the throttle wide open, so I'll have to hold the accelerator mechanism back there. I'll just put the camera back on the stand. Okay, here we go. Choke's open. Throttle wide open. Turn it over. So we've got a pressure of 105 psi. Sounds pretty good. I'm actually surprised it's that high. So we'll do this on all the other cylinders and see how we go. I'll write these results down. Okay, here we go on compression test for cylinder number 2. Open the throttle. Turn it over. Okay, that's looking very sad. We've got about 30 psi, if that. So I've finished the dry compression test on all cylinders. Only number 2 seems to be way off at 30 psi. All the other ones are very consistent at 105. However, which is not quite what the manual says here. I believe I've got the compression, the engine I've got is the 7.13 to 1 compression ratio, which should be reading 136 to 144 pounds per square inch. However, I'll give it a bit of leeway due to its age and possibly the inaccuracy of the pressure gauge, as it is a very cheap one. So here we go. We're going to squirt a couple of squirts of oil into cylinder number 2 through the spark plug hole there. There we go. Okay, here we go. A wet compression test on number 2 cylinder. Open the throttle. Yeah, still around the 25 to 30 psi, which seems to indicate that it's a valve or a head gasket problem, and not the cylinder, the piston rings. So I'm going to put the spark plugs back in for the moment. I think that'll be all for today. Just put the spark plugs in so we don't get any possibility of foreign matter getting inside the cylinders. Tomorrow I might take off the rocker cover and just turn it over and see how the rockers and the valves, springs and that sort of thing are operating, see if there's anything obvious there which might be holding a valve open. But if I have missed something, or there's another test I should be doing, or if you can advise on what the problem might be, please put something in the comments below. Thank you.